since the Assyrians started the beer culture and they kind of invented the beard care a few thousand years ago, everybody in Assyrian society had a beard.
Hipsters, you can all thank the Assyrians 7,000 years ago for starting your cool beard culture now.
Definitely.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the first Assyrian podcast coming to you from Sweden. In episode 91, you will get to know Nahrun Cano from Germany, an engineering student turned entrepreneur. Starting beard care company Sargon's Original due to a lack of variety of beard oil scents for what first started as a hobby, Nahrun has created a small business that brings ancient Assyrian beard culture to modern times. In this episode, we will hear about Royal Assyrian beards, what inspired Nahrun to start Sargon's Original, and his advice to aspiring entrepreneurs. You can find the products at sargonsoriginal.com, and until March 11th, you can enjoy 20% off with code AssyrianPodcast. Before we jump into the interview, I would like to remind you to subscribe to, rate, and review the podcast. If you know someone who should be a guest, please reach out to us, as we would love to hear from you. The Assyrian Podcast is brought to you by Tony Kalogerakis and the Injury Lawyers of Illinois and New York. If you know anyone that has been in a serious accident, please reach out to Tony. He has been recognized as a top 40 lawyer and a rising star by Super Lawyers publication, and has obtained multiple multi-million-dollar awards. Tony Kalogerakis can be reached at injuryrights.com or 847-982-9516. And now, here is Nahrun Cano of Sargon's Original. One of the first things I remember striking me about you is that you're very detail-oriented like I am. And I actually remember writing you, thank you for such a thorough answer in one of my million emails where I was asking you what are possibly self-explanatory questions, like what's the difference between a beard oil and a beard balm, or what's the difference between what a beard comb does and what a beard brush does. Can you tell us a little bit how the idea behind Sargon's Original began?
Of course, but first of all, there was not any silly question because I get them all the time. So the idea started as a hobby when I decided to grow my beard and to keep it. You have to think of the right beard care, how you take care of it, and you got to research because you don't know nothing about it. Since my mother worked at the pharmacy, I asked her about it and she brought me some oils, so I started to mix them up. But I had no idea what I was doing. So I had to take some research, which oil is good for what, which oil has which effect, and then the scent, how should it smell, and all that kind of stuff. So I mixed like about 20 oils, and then I wanted to know, compared to those oils which are sold and on the market, I wanted to compare them to mine. Are they better? Are they worse? How are they? So I bought like 4 or 5 of them, and I didn't like the smell because the scent, because they were only, to that time, there were only 2 scents, wooden or sweet, and both really extreme. Okay. So after 12 hours, you only have that, you still have that scent under the nose, and you don't like that. You
Definitely
don't want that.
Not pleasant to be walking around with all day.
And so I gave them away, gave them as a present to some friends, and I did some research and saw that there is no other scent, and that's how the idea started, to start a business out of that. And then it was destined to name it after the most famous Assyrian king, because they started the beard culture a few thousand years ago.
Okay, so I was actually going to ask you about that as well. So Assyrians did start the beard culture, as you said. So obviously you starting this company was a matter of wanting to find a good product for yourself.
Yes, definitely.
But I love how it's also tied in with our ancestry, mm-hmm. and our people and our traditions and things like that. Can you tell us what products you have first?
Of course. There are 4 products. First of all, the beard oil, which is the basic product to take care of the beard. It smoothens the beard, it softens it, moisturizes it, gives you a nice scent. Then we got the balm. It does the same as the oil. It moisturizes it, fattens it, spends some vitamins. But the main difference between those two is that the balm keeps the beard in shape, so you can play with it and all that stuff, but it still looks good after 12 hours. That doesn't matter. It keeps it in shape.
So you'll still look fly 12 hours
perfect.
later? Excellent.
Then we got the comb and the brush. Like I said before, there is no silly question. The difference between both of them is that the brush, since it's made out of boar bristles, it takes the oil or the balm and spreads it through your whole beard and even on the skin, which is very important. And then you get the comb to bring the beard back in shape. So the comb is more like a traveling item, which you can take with you when you go out for dinner or something like that, or party.
Oh, nice. So you just pull it out of your like suit pocket all sly and just
exactly.
Comb your beard. Nice.
Exactly. And then we got the box which you ordered, and that the idea behind it was to have a cool item in the bathroom. Most of the boys or men don't really have any space in the bathroom.
True.
Since the girls or women take up all the space. So the idea behind it was to have
I'm gonna
something.
let that slide, okay? We're just gonna let that one slide right now.
That wasn't offensive. I didn't mean it.
No
in
offense
any
taken.
offense.
It's okay. We have a lot of products.
Yeah. So the idea was to have a small item in the bathroom where the man can place all his stuff he needs for taking care of his beard without getting too much in the comfort zone of the woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love that that's actually the idea of the box. So because the box is my favorite product. Obviously, you can't have
Thank you very
anything.
much.
Of course, you can't have anything. You can't have the box without the actual original products that you have.
Yes.
But the box has such an amazing craftsmanship. It's a wooden box that you can open. Like the top is hinged, so it's not. You can tell just from looking at it what good quality it is. It has the logo engraved on the top. It's really, really detailed. I love that you have so much branding. For example, even the outer package has a sticker on it. There are different branding things inside the package itself. As I said, I originally ordered this as a Christmas gift. What other occasions do you think your product would make a good gift for?
I think any occasion. To be honest, I don't think you need an occasion for that. If you want to do something nice for a beloved one, you always can buy one of our products, or even the whole box. But since you asked the question, let's answer it proper. For example, Valentine's Day, birthday, Father's Day. I don't know, there are many occasions, but like I said, I'm not a fan of occasional gifts. I don't like that at all, but it's part of the culture, it's part of our society, so any occasion is a good occasion.
I agree with that. And then the good thing is sometimes it's hard for, I think, women to shop for men because you never know what to get. So this is great because it's a product that your friend or cousin or brother or boyfriend or husband or whatever the case is, if they have a beard, would need. It comes so beautifully branded, and you can tell it's such a sophisticated yakuro piece, to borrow a word from Assyrian. You can really tell what high quality workmanship has gone into the product.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
That was very important to me.
Absolutely, and it absolutely shows. So I'm sure a lot of research went into creating the first beard oil.
Yes.
You spoke to us a little bit about it. Can you tell us a little more detail about how you created that first oil, what scents you ended up deciding on using, and how that came to be?
Of course. First of all, it took, like you said, it took some time until the final product was ready. It took almost a year and a half for each, the oil and the balm, until the recipe was done.
Wow.
I had to try a lot of recipes until the final product was perfect. So I didn't want to sell anything. I wanted to be the perfect product, not just to be a salesman, but to make the customers happy and to like the product, so that the product speaks for itself. And for the scent, that was, like I said before, to the time when I started in 2015, there were only two scents, the wooden scent or the sweet scent. So for me, it was clear I'm definitely going to do something else. And so I had to think about it, and there was not much thinking needed since I grew up with my grandmother's roses in her garden. So it was clear I definitely going to use the scent of roses, but to combine it with something good and not to make it too girly. Like, it's still a product for men.
Absolutely.
I tried to do something fresh and fruity and kind of sweet, so decided to use some citric flavors. And the final product is the final scent happened to be rose, lime, grapefruit, orange, and mandarin.
Lovely. I love
Thank
that.
you.
How many people are in the company Sargon's Original?
It's kind of a one-man show, but I wouldn't be anything without my brothers. They're helping me with everything. Any convention we're going to, any barber or beard convention, I wouldn't be able to run this business without them.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So it's
Thanks to them, and shout out to them.
awesome. Shout out to the brothers. Nice. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the name Sargon's Original, and also a little bit about your logo?
Of course, since the Assyrians started the beer culture and they kind of invented the beer care a few thousand years ago, everybody in Assyrian society had a beard.
Hipsters, you can all thank the Assyrians 7,000 years ago for starting your cool beard culture now.
Definitely. So the point is, for the royals and the wealthy people, it was kind of a status symbol. Like, when today you have gotta drive a nice car or have a nice home, they had to show their beard and to have it in a good shape, well groomed, and
always look
stuff.
presentable.
Yes,
very nice.
definitely. So for me, it was clear when I decided to start this business, it was clear and to use that story. But I didn't want to use the logo of the king, Sargon. I thought it would be cool to use Ashur, the main god, and everything was named after him, our whole culture, the capital, the people, the land itself. So I decided to use him as the logo, but I didn't want to name it after him because he was a mythical figure. And since they started the whole beard culture and the beard care, I decided to take the most famous king, Sargon, since he was a real person and he himself used oil, or let his life groom his beard with oil.
Right. It's nice to be a king.
Definitely. And that's why I decided to use his name for the brand name.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So it's a nice melding of something mythical from our culture as well as something concrete and tangible, like melded into one.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That was the idea behind it.
Perfect.
To be honest, I struggled a little bit about the name. I wasn't sure what name I will give the brand. I wasn't sure about using Ashur Banipal, maybe But like I said, in the end, I just woke up one day and said, okay, it's going to have to be Sargon, and then it was done.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Have non-Assyrians had trouble with the name Sargon in your experience? Because I know you have
No.
non-Assyrian customers as well in Germany.
Yes, but you have to explain the name and the story behind the company, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to use our historical background. Not that it was only destined, but to spread the Assyrian name around the world, especially through the non-Assyrian customers, to give something back, because I am very proud about our legacy, the things our forefathers achieved. So that was very important to me, and I always like to tell that story.
Absolutely.
Everybody asks, okay, why Sargon, and why it's called like that? What is all that in the design, in the label, cuneiform? Even decided to use that on the product, on the label. We even put the coat of Hammurabi in it, match it a little bit to the products. Like the first rule is grow your beard. The second is take care of your beard.
Nice.
And so on. On the belt, it's the third rule is keep your beard in shape, in a good shape.
Were these actual Hammurabi's laws?
No, not at all. Those are our own laws, but
These
we
are
decided to
Sargon's
give.
laws.
Yeah,
I love it.
The modern Sargon.
Absolutely. But that's great. I love how your company really does have a mix of our ancestry and our history, and it really brings something modern, and it seems to be a perfect mix and a way to introduce non-Assyrians and remind some Assyrians today about, as you said, everything that our forefathers have done.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. But that took some time until everything was settled, which elements we're going to use, which we will keep out of it, because there are too many things our forefathers achieved. So it was kind of difficult. So I decided to use the most important and most famous one, like the Code of Hammurabi. That was the first written laws ever. So I thought it's kind of cool to use that in our own way and in a funny way.
I really like that. That's a really cool
Thank
idea.
you.
So again, a lot of attention to detail in terms of what went into your logo, what went into your branding, what goes into your marketing. So I really, really like that.
Thank you very
And
much.
I think it goes back to what you said, that you don't want to just put out a product that's just anything just to sell, but I can really tell that you have put a lot of time and research and thinking into how you're going to present your product, what kind of quality it is, what it shows people, not only about yourself and your business, but about the Assyrian people in general.
Definitely.
Okay, I am a name fanatic, and I love yours. Can you
Thank
tell
you.
us what Nahrun means?
Of course, it comes from the Assyrian name Nahro, and which is translated to river. Since I grew up in a very proud Assyrian family, especially thanks to my dad, he gave us Assyrian names or even religious names, but he wanted to give something back, like to name me after the most important part of our ancient culture, which were the two rivers. So he decided to name me Nahrun, after river. Yeah, named after the two rivers.
Very nice. That's beautiful. So as you said, you grew up in a very nationalistic family, as did I.
Glad to hear.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit how you think that may have shaped your personality and worldview as a young adult today?
Of course, I think every Assyrian kind of struggles with that we don't have our own country, and that we are born and raised in foreign countries. So we kind of feel at home, but not at all. So for me, it's very important to know where we come from, to know what our forefathers achieved, the mathematics, the inventions they had, and Yeah, you can see that in my business I started. I named it after the most famous king. I used the most famous elements which our ancient kings or people achieved. Yeah, you could say the most important point for me is that you should never forget where you come from and to be proud of your history. You should never forget that.
Absolutely. I agree with that 1000%. So initially you were doing this as a side hustle while you were studying electrical engineering, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Was it hard to start a business, and dare I say a successful business, in your spare time?
Yeah, kind of. In the beginning, not, but then while it took its shape, while you shaped the company, and then finally you just did it, you had to decide, okay, do I concentrate on my studies or on the company? So you put some money, you invested some money into the company. Okay, so you concentrate more on your company, which leaves less time for your studies. So of course, the studies struggled a little bit under the company, but in the end, I'm proud that I did it, and I'm really happy that I did it. I learned a lot. Thanks to the company, because of the company, I met a lot of very nice and cool people. For example, you. And
thank you.
I have the honor to do this interview. It's definitely possible. It's a question of time management.
Okay, time management. Yes, that brings me to another question, which is, I think, very important. There's a lot of people that maybe want to start a business venture or a project or or any kind of project in their, whether in the Assyrian aspect or in a different aspect of their lives. And it can be very hard because either we're studying or working full time, and then we have families, and then you have to have a social life and all this different stuff going on in our lives these days.
Come by
Absolutely, the risk as well. How do you, if you could give advice to anybody in that position that has this really wonderful idea, let's say a business venture, and they want to start it, but they're just so overwhelmed with everything that it takes, all the research, all the financial investment, not even knowing where to start sometimes. I feel like a lot of people have that problem.
Yes, definitely.
Where it's just so much and they don't know where to begin. Looking back on your experiences while you were studying, and then you had to take some time off to really focus on Sargon's original, and then once that started going well, you went back to your studying. If you could give listeners one piece of advice on how to take that first step, what would it be?
Just do it. Just do it. Seriously, guys, just do it. If you won't do it, you will regret it. If you tried it, you'll know, and it doesn't work how you planned it, or even if it works, you will always regret it if you didn't try it. So just give it a try. If you have a dream or a good idea and you want to do it, especially in this time where it is so easy to start a new company, a startup, just give it a try.
Why do you say especially at this time when it's so easy?
Because we're living in a modern time where everybody and everything is connected. You get to know people for everything. Like during school or at work, you know people who could do, for example, a website. Okay, can you help me with that? So you don't really need the financial wealth like you had to 50 years ago when you had to wanted to start a business. You could get a credit or find an investor if it's a good idea. Everybody will help you out with that. So just give it a try.
Okay, so just do it.
Definitely. Just do it.
Close your eyes and jump. Excellent. All right. Well, you're right. If you never try it, you'll never know.
You'll never know.
Absolutely. I agree. What are your current desires for your company?
That's a good question. Right now, we're focusing on the German market since we're from Germany, but we got customers from all around the world, but mostly from the German-speaking area like Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. But we're working on some new products like a beard soap, a new scent, another scent, and mustache wax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mustache wax.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because you showed me a picture earlier. So maybe you could describe to our listeners what the mustache wax is for.
Yes, it's just if you want to wear a mustache the proper way, you just have to use...
So you guys can't see Nahrun right now, but he's literally like twisting his mustache like those old school movies. You see, I don't know what they're called, those kinds of mustaches.
Just a mustache.
They don't have a special name? Like these ones, the long ones that you can twirl at the end?
Not that I know of.
Okay, but if only you guys could see him. He's literally, as he's talking to me, sitting there twirling his mustache, so happy.
That's kind of...
you definitely,
yeah,
you embody your whole product for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, the mustache wax is just if you want to twist it, if you want to keep it in good shape. But personally, I don't use mustache wax for... to keep it in that shape. I just use the balm because I like to play with it, as you said.
Yes.
It helps you think. It helps me thinking, and it confuses everybody around you.
I would say that now every time I see somebody like playing with their beard, I'm going to wonder if they're thinking and if it's helping them think.
But most of the time it's to confuse everybody around.
Is it?
You. Yeah,
okay, so now
definitely.
I'm going to be looking at everybody with a beard with a side eye. Why are you trying to confuse me? As we said, a lot of Assyrians are beard lovers. The men love having them. I can speak for myself. The women love looking at them. Do you have any plans to showcase your products at any Assyrian events like convention or festivals or anything like that?
To be honest, there are no plans like that, but we're happy for any occasion if there is an upcoming convention or a festival we don't know of. We'd be happy to hear about it, and then, of course, why not?
All right, nice. So eventually you're hoping to expand outside of Germany?
Yeah, sometime in the future, but like I said, for now it's the focus is on the German market, since we're born there, and Germany is kind of a big country. Compared to Sweden, it's really big.
Geography is not my strongest suit, but I'm not sure about that.
No,
one.
I'm in the population, not the geographics.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
that, absolutely. Yes. But that makes sense, and I think that's a really good idea. So that, again, you grow slowly but surely, and you can have a good base where you started, and then eventually spread out to other places.
Yeah, basically it's still a side business. So we go step by step, and we're going to take our time. So yeah.
Okay. How many hours would you say you spend per week on Sargon's original?
That depends. Some 1 week more, the other less. That depends on the projects, not projects. Right now it's about 10 to 15 hours. Most of the time we're just packing the orders, but like I said, we're trying out new products, we're developing new products. So it's kind of tricky. That's kind of a tricky question, which is kind of difficult to answer because you need to test the products. You need to put the time in it to develop thinking. To be honest, there is no time I'm not working.
Okay.
So the business is always in mind, but it's not that I'm sitting 24/7 and thinking about the business, preparing some projects or anything like that. When I get a new idea, I just write it down for later when I'm in the office and take care of work. So yeah, I would say 10 to 15 hours.
Okay. Looking back, let's say 5 or 10 years ago, even 5 maybe, would you think that you would have reached where you have with your company?
Never, because there wasn't even the idea that I would own that kind of company.
As little as a few years ago?
Yeah. Till the exact moment I decided to found the company, I would never dream of selling beer care products, producing beer care products and selling them.
Very cool. So you really never know how life is going to turn out.
Yes, and that's why I said just try it. Give it a try. If you get a good idea, just go with it.
Absolutely, because a lot of people will make plans for years and think about a company and talk about it and try to get loans and what have
don't
you.
overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
overthink
That's
it.
another good one. Okay, so just do it and don't overthink it. Just jump right in.
Of course, create a plan for
Of
it,
course.
but don't overthink it. If you overthinking it, you will never do it.
Okay.
Because then you will think about the risk and even more, and then there will appear another risk and another one, and then at the end you will be sitting there. Should I really do that? Yeah, just do it.
Okay, I like this. Very inspirational. A final question for you. If you had one thing to say to Assyrians listening to this from all over the world, what would that be?
Be proud of your legacy and never be ashamed of it. If anybody asks, never be tired about telling them our story. Our forefathers achieved a lot, many great inventions. The most popular drink of the world, for example, beer.
Absolutely.
So never be too tired to tell our story, so that non-Assyrians know from which people we are, where we came from. And yeah, I think that would be it.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. I couldn't have said that any better myself, so I think we're going to end on that note. Where can everybody find you online?
sargonsoriginal.com.
Perfect. Tawadi Sagi.
Thank you.